The way to 5D, choose for yourself. The way to 5D, new earth, heaven on earth, is to let go of what you no longer see yourself as and to consistently step into who you choose to be, what you choose for yourself. Welcome, you, my brother or sister of mankind, you, my fellow fractal in source. Welcome, and I thank you. I am so grateful to be with you here now and share this space together. The intention that I have for this message is simple: to offer insight and something practical you can use on your own journey to transform distortion and transcend as love who you are. Especially for those of us who rank high on the list of adverse childhood experiences. That's a list of traumatic experiences one has had through childhood. And I will leave a link to that description, or I will leave a link to that in the description box below. So we're working through this human experience as souls, fractals in source, in very unique ways. We are here to transcend suffering by bringing the presence of love to life. So if there were or are chosen ones, that's what that could look like. I'm not really sure that you can use a term like that without othering or excluding. And we're all fractals in source. Each and every one of us are created in the image of God, source, love, and therefore our value and worth are intrinsic. We're equal. So let's just say that I do see that there are those of us who have come here for a purpose and a very beautiful opportunity. Letting go of what we no longer see ourselves as and stepping into who we choose to be, right? Love, the divine aspect of God in fractal, individuated aspect. That's how we shift into 5D, new earth, heaven on earth. That's how this reality takes place. It sounds simple to understand, yet the living of it is the refiner's fire. If you've ever said to yourself, what the hell am I doing here? This place is a madhouse. I just want to go home. Those are the shoes I've walked in too. Everything I share with you comes from hard-won lessons and the understanding they brought me. We share those lessons, different experiences. I walk this with you. When I walk this with you, you are not alone. I am not alone. We're together. We are one. So here are the questions I invite you to ask yourself, working through this process of choosing for yourself a way to 5D. And we're going to go through them one by one, but I'm going to give you all of them in list. Do I choose this? No? Okay, what do I choose? What does that look like? What am I letting go of? What am I receiving? What am I giving? What am I forgiving? How do I live with the presence of love? capital L. So the first one, do I choose this? No. This no has to do with what you prefer less of or what you are moving away from. Okay, what do I choose? Oh, I choose peace. Choose peace over distortion. Now, what I'm going to say next, there's a message behind the message. Choose peace over distortion, right? Because it can't be law if it does harm. It can't have value, money, if it's debt-based. It can't make sense if it doesn't. This has everything to do with choices and the alchemy of self-love in action, which is sovereignty. Okay, what do I choose? I choose peace. What does that look like? It looks like letting go and receiving. It looks like forgiving and living with the presence of love, capital L, God, source, whatever word brings the meaning that you need. Letting go of fear and control, BS, belief systems, fear and control belief systems. We recognize these because they diminish us and our brother and sister. We recognize the fear and control belief systems because we see that they diminish us, right? Ourselves, our brothers and sisters. Forgiving and living with the presence of love. We're forgiving that we forgot. That's all there is to forgive, because it was seeing the distortion as real that created it. So what does that look like? Letting go and receiving, forgiving and living with the presence of love. What am I letting go of? Here, you name it, clearly. For example, I'm letting go of relationships where my needs are consistently unmet. I'm letting go of the attraction to controversy and drama. What we're letting go of is what no longer serves us. Now, it isn't who we are. So often we identify with who we are as the experiences that we've had in our life. The duality reality is here for us to choose, to use our choice, free will. We choose for ourselves. So what am I letting go of? You're going to name that clearly. I gave you some examples, but the thing is, you're letting go of what no longer serves you. And you're stepping back from identifying with the experiences as who you are. What am I receiving? Here, you choose consciously. I'm letting go of something. What am I receiving as I let that go? If I'm letting go of relationships where my needs are unmet, what does receiving look like? It looks like showing up for myself in relationships where I can be met and choosing to receive. Now, the thing is, it sounds like we're choosing to receive outside of us. And that's part of it. But before we do that, we are receiving us showing up for ourselves. It's always the inner to the outer. The kingdom of heaven is within. We go there, and then we create heaven on earth. So it looks like showing up for myself in relationships. So I want to give you an example. It has been said, addictions have been put in place within our bodies. It's all a chemical thing. So are emotions. The addictions that we take on have been put in place because of an absence to connection. So if I'm letting go of addiction, I'm receiving connection. To receive connection, I've got to show up for myself. Loving ourselves is an act of great courage. To have support in that act of great courage, we are going to want to connect with others who value that, right? Because those who don't know themselves can't possibly value that. So think on that one. There's a message behind the message on that one. The thing is, when we remember who we are, loving ourselves comes natural. If I'm letting go of the pull to controversy or drama, what does receiving look like? It looks like peace. I use my power of choice to direct my attention and intention toward what peace looks like. This is my sovereignty in action. This is the embodiment of sovereignty, choosing for myself, creating the 5D reality, rather than feeding drama, distortion. I don't deny that it exists in the world. I just don't choose it. I place my focus on what I prefer more of, not what I prefer less of. Now, these last two, this is the second before the last one. What am I forgiving? I'm forgiving the forgetting. This sounds simple. However, we cannot dismiss the shadow work within these last two steps. It's really present through all of this. This is really, if we do, then we risk spiritual bypassing. Okay? We're integrating our human experience with the truth of who we really are. And part of that integrating is learning not to abandon ourselves. So if we dismiss this and we spiritual bypass, we directly or indirectly abandon ourselves. So we're integrating this human experience with the truth of who we are. What am I forgiving? I'm forgiving the forgetting. Sometimes this means naming it with others, sometimes with yourself, with others. If I'm letting go of relationships where my needs aren't met, I can say, I forgive that my brother or sister, also a fractal in source, has forgotten who they are, or they wouldn't be acting in error. Error tends to be a safer word for us than sin because of the BS or belief systems that are contained with that word. So I can say I forgive my brother or sister, also a fractal in source, for he or she has forgotten who they are, or they wouldn't be acting in error. For the same reason, I forgive myself for forgetting. How do I live with myself? Okay, that was the example with others. With myself, if I'm letting go of the pull toward controversy, I can say, I forgive the forgetting that creates all drama and conflict. The world I see outside is a reflection of my own forgetting. I forgive that both I and my brothers and sisters have forgotten who we are. This is the last one. How do I live with the presence of love? And this is something I answer for myself. You answer for yourself. What I say next all relates to shadow work, because the shadow is created from fear blocking love or the light. Now, fear is a misalignment. It points to what is taking you out of alignment. So it's not something to reject, dismiss, deny, or stuff. It's got great value. It's here to show you how you're in disalignment, how you're not in alignment. It's okay. So we're looking at where our beliefs have originated from out of fear and control, and we can then choose now out of knowing and love. And know that this is love with a capital L. It's synonymous with God, source, love. When I remember who I am, I know that I am created in the image of whatever word you feel most comfortable with, because you put that meaning into that word. That I am the embodiment of love brought into form. What you believe has everything to do with who you become. Be your being and what you create. Our relationships reflect back to us what we truly see in others and what we truly carry within. We can say one thing, but we can't hide energy. If I wish to show up as I am, it requires authenticity. Not everyone in our lives is meant to meet the needs we weren't nurtured in during childhood. This is part of why hurt people hurt people. What I can do, what I can choose, is managing myself so that I enter relationships with clear and appropriate expectations of what the other can truly offer. Now, listen closely. So, for example, with my own life, I realized that when I felt let down, often it was because I had put unspoken or unrealistic expectations on the relationship. This goes back to that list of childhood trauma experiences. So I wasn't clearly seeing the other. I was actually looking at how he or she, could meet my needs, or how I could get them to meet my needs. So let me repeat this. Those of us with many adverse childhood experiences are moving through life in very unique ways. We're here to transcend suffering by bringing the presence of love into life, into form, into this physical world. And this requires sovereignty, owning yourself, and owning everything that comes from you, whether good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, constructive or destructive. You own it. You see it for what it is, right? The distortion. You create it out of distortion, out of fear, and there is no more misalignment, right? The fear. It does not have control over you. You are a sovereign being. That means you own yourself, all that comes from you is your property. And property is the highest right a man or woman has. That's a message that there's a message behind. In conclusion, you may wish to go back to the questions and examples at the beginning of this video so that you can assimilate this process and use it to integrate. I'll post them, this process, I've got that all set up to post on our community tab so you can see it there in print while you listen. I know I learn best when I can both see something and hear it, and that's the purpose of posting it there. May you lean into your joy and your self-honor today and always. Choose for yourself. Choose for yourself a way to 5D. If this message served you, please like, share, and subscribe for more. You are the you in this YouTube channel. These messages are for you, and they are layered, meaning there is a message behind the message. Also, please consider please consider giving me feedback through your comment below on how this has supported your growth. It helps me to tailor my videos to better meet my intention, which is to help you in your journey to transform and to transform the distortion and to transcend as love. One last thing, I know you. I remember you. We were together, knit in the womb of Source. Go in peace.